In the bottom left-hand corner, our red Zerg is going to be Solar from Onside Gaming. In the top right, our blue Terran is going to be from Team NV, Abydos, whichever team that is. I still don't understand the Team NV Abydos situation. Our blue Terran is Cure. So, yeah, this is underway. Hatchet going down. Barracks on the way up. Away we go with this ZvT winners match. A fun one. I'm excited to see who comes out of this. Overload around that right hand side. Just going to turn back up. Hatch, gas, and pool all coming in. As our barracks going to be coming in as well. Getting this set up. Getting this rolling. Reaper on the way up. Orbital command coming through. So far, so good. In these early few moments. Shout out to both these players being good sports, but coming into play late at night. Obviously, again, they both seem pretty up for it. They're usually grinders. They'll play these later events if they need to. And to be fair, it's not that bad. Starts at midnight for them. It's 1 a.m. right now. You know, late. 2, 3 a.m. latest probably for them. It's obviously it's not ideal. Don't get me wrong. It's just it could be so much worse. I guess is what I'm saying. They've played in events which finish 5, 6, 7 a.m. sometimes. So obviously playoffs start tomorrow for them at a much more reasonable time. So listening now, a drone popping out, coming around. A couple of Queen's Fuelings all coming up. Our factory. Building in the main base, as we do have our CC on the low ground, and the Reaper of Cure continues down to the bottom left. A little bit of a move into this natural. Drop a grenade, and then a few Zerglings going to come out and just chase that Reaper back away the other side. Nearly grabbing that drone, but not quite able to in the end. Couple of command centers coming up. We do grenade and just pop the feelings around a little bit. Queen coming by and chasing that Reaper. Third CC getting started from Cure. It's just very happy to go into an immediate kind of bit of extra economy for himself. Set up into the more macro focused game in general. King comes up, Reaper goes around. A couple more Hellions getting built. We just see our Zergling speed building from Solar. Let's have our drones hatch. Again, everything being set basically is the Reaper. Ooh. Nearly going down. The Queen's just about able to chase that Reaper out of here. Back over to the left. So far, so good. Our Lings, our Queens joining together. We do see our Ling speed is about again halfway done. A couple Hellions and the Viking coming through as well. Gonna get these couple of units just jumping onto the lava there, just popping that pretty quickly. Units coming back around this left-hand side. Ling speed continuing up. A couple Queens, few drones. All continuing in as well. A couple more Overlords still producing. Other units of Cure. Going back around into the center. Viking just going to nab this Overlord, so just going to grab that and take it out. The Marines there to get some shots on that Ovi as well. So just going to pick that off, do a very good job of it. Now our units of Solar on the bottom left side just chilling a little bit. You can see the aggression coming the way of him though. Cure with the Marauder, the concussive shells, the extra Hellions, the Armory as well. All of this on the way out right now. Full grenade goes down, Creep Tumor gets bopped and blasted. I'm just going to be seeing our units getting back up this top side. Going to grab a Zergling on the wall off. Nice to get rid of that nice and quickly. As again, we do see the little bits and pieces of everything coming up. Predictions. I will do the predictions, guys. I just very skeptical because every time I tab out to do predictions, the game starts like super lagging, which really makes no sense. But here we are. There you go. Predictions are up for next match. Like, it's just so laggy, and it's only when I start the predictions. Like, there's something with the prediction star, and it's kind of weird. Anyways, here comes this Hellbat attack. So in we go. Hellbat's morph in. Queen's at the front. Just gonna have to be a little bit careful as the Fuelings try and wrap around the other side. The Banelings are just not ready yet, and that's going to be a major issue here as well, as we do have our Hellbats and Marauders pressing on forward, coming in for these Queens. A couple more Hellions are showing up as well, going after those Queens. Also, Banes from the other side going in for Marauders and the Viking, but not really doing enough. And Q's attack so far is turning out to be very, very effective. He's going to get rid of pretty much every Queen. And if you can get rid of pretty much every Queen, I feel like in general you've got to be pretty happy with that. It slows down a lot of the Zerg's follow-up with, you know, injects being slowed, creep spread being slowed. We actually have a few Queens do survive. A lot of them low HP. Those ones on the left side that just about got away. I was not actually really expecting that to happen, I guess, as we get out of there. Just seeing our stim pack about to finish, plus one attack on the way through as well. And just seeing a few extra Queens continuing to produce for the moment. So all that's still being brought in. We do have our 1-1 upgrades coming up. Combat Shield as well from Cure. Hellions and Medivacs are all being brought into play. And seeing our extra barracks continuing through too. These few Queens are going to go spreading out on the far left-hand side and see what sort of setup they can really take here. Hellions will grab a few Lings, a couple of Banes getting nabbed as well. Try and dive this mineral line. Yeah, a few drones, they'll begin to become some different structures. As you actually move these Hellions into Hellbats and trying to maybe get aggressive here as we take down Smoke Crawler number 1. A couple Queens putting some damage in, a couple more Hellions down the right side, but not really worth, I think, more from the min or anything. We're still building Hellions, which is a huge mineral dump from Cure. That actually really eats up the amount of Marines you can build usually. There's usually a reason you kind of limit your Hellion count to like 8, 10. In this game, we've lost 14 Hellions, and we still have 8 on the map. Obviously, Hellions, Hellbats count them as the same. That's a hell of a lot of Hellbat production, so it's kind of ridiculous. Gun comes down, Queens push the other way, Hellbats just get pushed back again, and our Mutalisks will begin to build up here from Solus. 7 Banelings continue to produce 2, and our Queens will just still be hanging back. Another scan or 2, just getting some of the creep spread again, picking off as much of that as possible. I mean, denying the creep spread is obviously huge because it really limits what Solo can do for the rest of this game. Future fights from Terran play will be way more effective if they're pushing in off of creeps, so just in general, that's a massive benefit. And one of the reasons why this kind of earlier attack was so good, because it's led to Solo not being able to compete with this creep spread clearance. The Muta's mostly getting around unseen. This one's going to fly overhead, and that is going to alert Cure to maybe be a bit aware. The other Muta's showing up right now, going to begin to get SCVs almost immediately. And Cure's going to decide to keep on pushing forward. He doesn't believe that Solo has enough defensively to hold off this attack with the Mutas being built on the other side. But there's a chunk of Banelings that roll through, but the Widow Mine survive. Well, at the same time, we're pushing on the left. Hellbats and Marines come through over here. And that's a lot of Hellbat Marine as Banelings crash on in. Hellbats continue to get killed. And a few more Mutas being brought up as well, as we still see this army. The Lings and the Mutas up the left side just going to catch this. And Cure decided to just go and not pull back, and that was a mistake. He was not in good enough numbers on any of these fights. And that is going to be very solid stuff from Sol, who got, you know, maybe not a ton of workers, but a few workers as well on top of all of this with those Mutalisks. So that also benefited as well. Being Muta up the right side, just going to go try and grab those Marines as our Medivacs load up, and they're going to go boosting on away. Just going to unload here with these Marines, getting rid of another couple of the Lings. Do have our army resetting and reestablishing around the sides. Mutas are going to go diving in toward the main base as well, so in they go. It's a pretty hefty Widow Mine shot to begin with. It's obviously not very pretty. They just continue to trade out. They have this Terran push on the other side. Wow, a few more Banes, if they all went in together, maybe would have had quite a few bio units there. That really felt like a moment they could have just gone. Cure was not really ready to split back or anything. I really feel like that could have been disastrous. Anyways, Cure now continues to fight in. Solar Supply struggling a little bit here, and Cure looks as though he's maybe getting the trades he needs. The Zerg army now getting to reach in. The Balings actually do get through to connect. Some good damage in the end. Wouldn't mind to just grab a few Zerglings too. Again, another Widow Mine out and down that bottom side as well. It's a lot of bio that comes pushing through once again. Mutas, Lings, Banes, all being chased away. More Banes on that far left side. 2-2 upgrade still coming in. Our creep spread. It's going to get denied once more here as the bio just pushes on through. A lot of creep tumors continuing to drop. His upgrades obviously held back massively here as well, as the engineering base getting picked off previously has allowed this massive delay. It really kind of puts Cure in this position where, you know, this push is going to be that much weaker, so the army supplies being close, maybe still manageable, still maybe doable here for Solar. Heater's just hanging out overhead. The bio turns around again. Just has to be careful with when you decide to commit forward. Either about to be done from Solar 2, something to help him further down the line, but right now, it's about dealing with this. The Overseer is going to try and bait some of the Widow Mine shots onto the Marines, and honestly it goes pretty well. Widow Mines are friendly firing heavily, and Solar's going to keep going. This time he's got the chase potential. Do we have the units over here to defend? The last couple of Overseers going to try and set up these mines. Widow Mines, waiting, does go off. Not really the craziest of shots. I think we ran out of damage though. We ran out of ground units. There's Mutas still left over. Are there enough Marines to turn these Mutas around? If not, this game might just end already. Just come back over. A few Lings continue through. A few of those SCVs keep on getting picked off. A lot of Marines going down. That's going to be GG. Cure taps out. Solar is going to end up taking game number 1 of this best of 3. On the bottom right, blue Terran player to be introduced. Down the map and looking to fight back. He is none other than Cure. Really feel like he has been so good lately. So good. Excited to see if he can continue to prevail. Top left, our red Zerg, Solar. Alright, hatchery down on the natural. We do have ourselves the drone coming through, racks coming up, gas on the way. A lot of this being established in the early stages as our few drones continue in. Just getting our drones mining away. A couple more drones on the way out. Barracks producing on the main. All of that coming in for the moment. Our Overlord of Solar will just be moving on down. Obviously, our initial scouring. No proxy racks or anything. So nothing immediately to kind of worry about or to be seen here. It's obviously good to get that initial movement going and just checking, just to make sure. You never know. You never know. You need to be sick first before the Cure. I see. So what you're saying is that Cure is too healthy right now. So he's not as effective. So he needs to get sick, and then he'll be better StarCraft player again. Got it. Makes so much sense, guys. Being on the way through. See, drone. It's into the side, just in case the Reaper showed up early and didn't have the money to build the hatch. He doesn't want to get blocked. The Reaper checks this base. And then just going to say, oh, no drone here. Okay. And then the drone comes and builds the hatch. So very well timed. Obviously, Solar saw the Cure Reaper moving forward. So knowing that that Reaper is on the way allows you to time that pretty well. So, but Shouldn't be the craziest of things. And now this Reaper continues to move around and doing some decent damage. Just getting a couple link kills and everything else for the moment. Link speed still coming up. And that commends into going through reactor, starport. All of that being brought in for now as Reaper it's turned away. Well, Hellions on the way out, obviously. Last game started off with all that Cure Hellbat aggression. I really liked how Cure got set up. The mistakes really started to pour in on the Mutalisks. The Mutalisks kind of forced Cure into a weird spot, and Cure definitely didn't respond to those well. In fact, he really struggled with the Mutas, and then also the armies on the other side of the map at the same time was quite rough. Viking on the way out obviously can clear Overlords. Sometimes that's something that can be quite cool and indicative of even Hellbats again, because you're getting rid of Overlords, the Viking can land to add damage, and it just makes it hard to confirm whether it's Hellbats or not. So this time we just got Hellions already on the start of this, going for some drones. We got 2 so far. We're kind of getting into dangerous territory where a lot of drones are low HP. Very easy for 1 or 2 Hellion shots to get a lot. Now we've got Hellions on the 3rd base as well, and just in general, this is the problem. You kind of let your opponent get a little bit of a head start, and you're playing catch-up, and that has this knock-on effect. 7, 8 dead workers. And at the cost of so few Hellions as well, I think most notably that this is really very cost-efficient on the side of, you know, Cure. Like, he is fine with trading out Hellions for this amount of workers this early in the game. Lost mining time, too, really adding up. I think Cure is absolutely fine with how this starts out as a couple Hellions coming over, going to grab that circling. 2 more Hellions are going to pop out and join up with the others. Again, our armory already coming through. Concussive shells halfway done. That medevac still just ticking along for the moment as well. The Viking lands and is going to go nab a drone or 2 perhaps, so even more damage from Cure. Gets a single kill, very nearly got a second, forced a Spore Crawler. Tries to go back in. I mean, Cure is just playing his best life at the moment, right? He's just having a great old time. Having a bundle of fun, moving his units around, getting this Viking involved. And now just going to come across the map with the Hellbat Marauder time. And so it is going to be that in the end. All of this damage is going to lead into this attack, and we'll see if Solo can be prepared after taking such a beating already. If it's anything like the last time, considering the damage Q has done this time around, I would say that Solo is probably in a spot of bother in this next couple of moments. Let's see if he can find his way out of trouble. As Hellbats dive on forward, the Marauders begin to drop. You can see the drones just pulling away. 4 Banelings morph. They morph back into the natural, so just a little bit further back just to try and stay safe, trying to keep it a safe distance. Things on the counterattack already finding SCVs adds to the pressure of this attack and needing to get more done as we continue through the Queens here. Kind of running out of Hellbats, which means that the Lings start to do a lot better, and I'm going to go ahead and say the combination of Solo doing damage across the map and clearing this up without losing anything apart from Queens is probably going to put Solo into a very good position. What a defense, what a hold. Awesome. Awesome defense, actually, at the end of the day, as a couple of racks will drop down in the main base. Just see now a couple extra Banes coming through, the Spore Crawler setting up, a few SCVs transferring over toward that 3rd as well. And the rest of our Hellions just continuing over the left-hand side. Gonna dart up toward the forward base. Has Hellbat Push ever actually won at the pro level? Yes, all of the time. Do you guys think, and just genuinely curious, when you ask this question, do you guys think that these players would still be Hellbat pushing if it actually just never works? The confirmation bias of Hellbat pushes being bad is insane. People never remember the Hellbat pushes that work, but they always remember the Hellbat pushes that don't work. It's really crazy. Like this is honestly some of the craziest bias I've ever seen for a strategy. Thanks, Stage 11. Thank you so much for the 4-month resub on the Prime. I appreciate it. This and YouTube comments lately saying that Protoss players never win anything. Even when I upload a match of a Protoss winning, there's a reason why the Protoss won. That's also kind of on everyone's minds right now. That's crazy. How about follow-up here? And Kira, seemingly in pretty good shape still. Has a good little bit of army supply advantage that he can maybe make use of. So we're keeping our eyes on that as we do have the Hellbats, the Marines, pulling back down into the center. Getting rid of a few more of the creep tumors at the front. Just seeing our little bit of creep getting picked off. One link goes out to the far right-hand side. Creep spans coming up. Hydras, Overlords all being produced again. T2 upgrades continuing in. The drilling claws just past the halfway marker as well. As our Hellbats and Marines just continuing in. A couple of those creep tumors getting picked off. So far, so good. Marines and Hellbats continue to set up in the center. We do have the few units on the left side starting to get poking on forwards. Let's attack in. Widowmine gets to go off. Couple Widowmine shots. Obviously got this split, so still looking to press up the center as well. In we go. Well, that's Marines getting active and just coming straight on through this. We do see a couple of Valens connecting though, and obviously messy fight. We still have another Widowmine that just catches a couple of Lings, nothing too much. Marines pushing on the left-hand side, gets one of the Queens. These Lings continue to fight. Marines will just load it back up into the medevac straight away. And we escape back down to the south. Again, not having the greatest of fights, but was still kind of okay-ish. Resources lost is even, which is actually usually pretty good for a Zerg. The income graph has been to a favorite, however, right? So the even trades are going to kind of keep Solar, keep Solar in the game instead of, Zerg trading inefficiently and then Terran combining more, then he really would be in trouble. So that's why he's, the game's kind of still close. The Widowmine shots going off, not landing perfectly as we do see the Lurker down, the Hive, all of that continue to just come out at the moment. Lings, Banes, Hydras, Queens all still joined up together. The rest of this bio army of Q is still pressing forward. Our army spreading out, and these Banes continue to morph in. A little bit of bio stemming through. Our Overseer overhead. Widowmine shots going off, and a lot of the Ling Bane. Banes just continue to crash forward, and we just see the attempt to wrap around Solar, forcing the lift off. Trailing supply a little bit on the tail end of that. Felt like Q obviously just gets a lot of kills while essentially not losing anything, just getting away. Means that is quite costly for Solar, and he's the one that ends up having to pay the price, having to pay the rebuild in amongst all of that. Bio. Widowmine still up the top right. Q is going to try and press over there for the moment. Alright, Lingbane continues around. Bio going to stem through to the bottom left-hand corner. Into the bottom we go. A couple of drones going down immediately, and the rest of these drones being picked off as well. So again, just action in multiple places, and Solar losing some of those drones. He'll get maxed out a game, but we're getting to the stage where it's like, how is Solar going to fight this larger Terran army? It is genuinely becoming a little bit of a problem. Killings run around the left side. A bunch of those Marauders go down. The medevacs load up. Away they go. Zooming on out of there. Fire getting rid of a few more Lings. Just going to nap that Queen. A couple of Creep Tumors going down. The Viper's coming across. Abduct onto a medevac. Gets that kill. Abducts for a second. Well, that's what Solar needs. Good cleanup, good chunk of supply from the Terran going down. Make that a costly experience. Get that full cleanup and just really benefit and have a bit more freedom. Over here, these bio units hurting as well. Looks like they hit some lurker shots. They might get a cancel on this bottom base, but I love this. Immediately, actually, we turned this lurker army around. So I realized I don't need to chase this. I need to go across the map and punish the fact that A, I've just killed a bunch of supply, and B, he's got a bunch of supply not at home. Let's see if we can get in position. Let's see if he can. We're already talking about a lot of siege tanks, though, and siege tanks are very good until the Vipers show up, but the Vipers have used their energy abducting, so that's probably not going to create too much of an opportunity. Well, definitely a couple moments that have helped Solar out, and you can see his bank actually getting a chance to build up as well. Here are the Vipers that can maybe make a difference in this fight. We killed 10 SCVs here, pretty cost-effective from Solar, who didn't really have to commit in super hard for that. Now gets a siege on this left side base, going to get more SCVs and just more damage done in general, pushing into this left-hand side. Ghosts are going to cloak up, a few snipers getting lined up as well. Hydras, Lurkers, all being picked up for the moment. Planetary Fortress helping to hold off that right side. Hydra's pushed back to the north. And we do have our armies Akira moving up to the top. Hydra's still trying to make sure they get out of there. And goes the bio, the tanks all coming across. Our tanks will begin to siege. Initial Ling there again picked off. Our bio going to go jump onto this hatchery. A few Zerglings getting picked away as well. Ling's coming through. 4 SCVs going down, and let's see the rest of these Banes trying to roll down this ramp as well into these Marauders. Not going to do too much as again the SCVs picked off. Definitely has an impact. Our army now from Kua back over to the right hand side. Ling Bane Hydra still going through the middle of the map. Is going to burrow up and see what they can do down there. Blind Cloud coming down, and these tanks and these bio units in general just not having a good time. The Vipers definitely making the difference. They get flanking though, and oh my god, the Ghosts are going to get involved in these lurkers. So what started very nicely is perhaps going to turn around a little bit. You can see these Ghosts getting some good cleanups, and this Bioforce continuing forward. Hydras continuing to move on over. Just again, now you're getting chased a little bit. Blind Cloud coming down. Getting rid of these Ghosts might just be the biggest challenge of all. Might be quite a problem. Seven Lurkers coming up, plus 2 missiles and everything continue to come through. Plus 3 vehicle weapons on the way up as well as the building plating. Solar in trouble because he's losing hatcheries, and again, I just don't think he has a real good way to get through this ghost count at the moment. Definitely a part of the problem here. Things Bane's Hydras begin to run around at the top. We're just going to see a bit of bio coming through here. This Nidus will go down. Get some abducts coming through. There's a couple of tanks getting caught. A couple of blinding clouds as well. Also just dropping into play our ghosts. And bios continue to come up. We will see the Overseers taking some damage. Wings, Banes, Hydras, Lurkers all setting up again, just dealing with some units as they begin to move up the ramp, and just seeing our, again, tanks firing away, firing up a little bit of a storm for the moment. Got a couple of shots off again. At this point, I don't think Solar really has a way back into this. Kua is going to stand strong, and, well, if Solar attacks into him, it's not going to go well. Kua just has too much. The Ghosts really the MVPs, as they often are in TVZ, right? Gets to a point where those Ghosts just aren't. In the bottom right-hand corner, it is going to be the red Terran player from Team NV. This is Kua. Top left, our blue Zergy is going to be on side Gaming's Solar. Is MaxPax playing later? Nope. MaxPax will be in the playoffs tomorrow. Those playoffs are going to be fun, man. Pretty stacked up. Just read these out for you guys, the players in the playoffs already. Players that the winner of this series will join. Bjorn, Holston, Dark, Spirit, Ragnarok, and MaxPax. Hey, there's been a pattern in these groups, by the way. Korean in first, a European in second. Maybe there's a sign to come. Maybe there's really a reason, to win this match, because maybe you won't make it through the decider, whoever loses here. It's gonna be fun, man, especially considering MaxPax got a second place. That means that MaxPax ends up playing one of Bjorn, Dark, or the winner of this series. That will only be a best of 3 in the quarterfinals tomorrow. Novi just having a scout around the left. And a hatch coming through. And all of this underway. Got a little grenade down as we have our shieldlings coming through to chase. Reaper gets pushed back a little bit, in and out. Got a couple of queens coming up, our drones as well. Just seeing now a queen getting there to get the Reaper push back also. So far, so good. Obviously, we've seen some Hellbats 2 games in a row so far. We'll see if that's going to be the plan and gain. They have been Hellbats off of a more macro-focused opener, like this 3cc that we're seeing Kua do right now, so may just be seeing more of that right here. Reaper not really finding too much at Queens. Able to keep on blasting that, keeping it low on HP, just trying to stop it from scouting, and I mean, you see the third hatchery, that's fine. It's not really much to stop you scouting that one, but he doesn't get to see into the base at all. I actually really feel like first place is a pretty big buff, by the way, in this group. So, if you finish in second place, you could potentially play Bjorn, Dark, or Ragnarok. They're all terrifying. Finish in first place, you play MaxPax, who's terrifying, and then Hostile or Spirit. I mean, they've been great lately too. I just feel like you probably have better odds finishing first and avoiding, Beyond Dark, etc. So, do you have our Reaper and the Hellions coming up? The Roach are on about to finish here from Solar. Oh, how many Roaches are we going to build in the end then? How many Roaches are we going to build in the end of this? How aggressive do we go? Tons of Overlords, so loads of free supply to spam those Roaches out. When rains and the Viking will get rid of the Overlord. Nice catch. Hellions and the Reaper just going to grab a Zergling already. We continue around the left-hand side. And the Queens very nearly catching the Reaper. Not quite able to. Queen's going to take out the Vikings. The Viking gets picked off already. The rest of the Roaches continue through the bottom side of the map. Hellions continuing across. A few more bunkers setting up. Engineering base, barracks. Continue to get going as well. Our Hellions will continue to fight. First couple of Roaches continue to go down. So Roaches still getting picked away at here. The Ravagers coming across the other side. Do you see our orbital command just going to lift off from that third base location? More Lings continuing through. And actually going to catch all of the Hellions. Well, the bunkers have had a little bit more time board for them. Obviously, that Liberator potentially gets biled down here by the Ravagers. Got to be careful about that. Biles onto the SCVs to try and help bust down this bunker. SCVs for the moment will hold out, though. So for the moment, the SCV holdout is good. And we will not be able to bust through here. Lair on the way. Baneling Nest, we are tacking up. Moving into the next stage of this. So on we go. Things, Ravages, Roach, just going to break through this set of rocks, opening up this area, and begin to just open the map in general. Always good for Zerg to have more ways to move around, more directions to go in, etc. So, nothing too surprising about that. Slings the Ravages, we'll just knock. On through again, just more and more of these rocks getting opened up and everything. So far, so good. As those rocks fall, we obviously have the Terran army still stacking up. You know, a lot of investment into those bunkers at least slowed down some of the Terrans' progress in this game up until this point. Few Banelings getting morphed in, by the way. Just going to join up out the front. A couple Queens. Some damage onto the Medivac already. So Medivac already taking a couple of hits. 1-1 upgrades are going to be finishing soon on the engineering base. And the Ling's going to run forward. The Medivac's going to have to just lift up and escape out of there for a few moments. Trying to stay out of reach. Still got that armory about to finish up. Our Medivac's unloading the Marines out down in the bottom left, and just going to keep the pressure going. Kyo wants to be as active as possible already. Getting a couple drones knocked down with that Liberator, and getting rid of some creep spread is always going to make life easier further down the line. Solo on his way to the Infestation Pit. His next step is going to be look towards potentially Hive Tech here. He's still just Ling Bane in it, right? So obviously he has the Ravagers too, but mostly focused on Ling Bane. He's getting Overlord speed. I imagine we just go Hive and then maybe straight towards Ultras off of this, actually. Don't think there's anything else you really need to add in off the Infestation Pits, so... Couple drones, 2-3 drones going down. The Liberator does at least fall in the end now. As the Lings run up once again, getting a wrap around on those Marines. Medivacs have to lift off and go away. And for the moment, they're just going to escape up to the top side of the map. Marines lift up again, just jumping back into the Medivacs. We'll go across the left-hand side. Do you have the Hive about halfway done, plus 2 melee producing from Solar. More Lings, OVs, everything still being brought into place. And Marines will unload in the bottom corner and into the main base. These Marines will also be... just have to be a little bit careful as we see the couple of spores coming back through. Getting some extra shots off. Feels like obviously Q is still the one doing a lot of the damage, even if it's not a lot of damage at any point in time. It's just chip by chip. He's just working away at Solar. Again, a few drones here, a few drones there, a couple units here. Now like getting a cancel down here. The creep spread on this bottom left side is obviously quite poor as well. So without a lot of creep spread, it's very difficult to really stop these attacks. And that's something else that Q can try and stay on top of. Just keep that creep pinned back to keep these access points to be as strong as possible for himself for as long as he can, basically. More Vipers coming up, plus 2 melee, Carapace. Adrenal glands all still continuing to produce out. 14 Zerglings being made as well, as you do have our Marines unloading now off of these Medivacs. And tanks continue to push up through the center. We're actually going to take a chance to play the top right a little bit. Obviously take some creep out over here. The creep was a little bit better in this top right than it was bottom left. That means the bottom left base has a chance to come online from Solar, but like I say, we're making progress at least from Kira in this corner of the map too. Lings might do some patrol just to protect on that side. And the medevac actually going to come down over here. Kira already had the Bailing's target fired. Shift clicked them ahead of time. And just had one at the end to finish up on, so he's going to make that a pretty good trade. He is going to lose the medevacs though, and losing the medevacs makes that a little bit more complicated than it was before, I suppose. So, yeah, a little intriguing, I guess. A little bit intriguing. Tank still pressing up, tank still sieging. Now Marines also just holding out towards the front, and now medevacs continuing to unload Marines out for now. As we have the Adrenal and +3 coming in. Big push coming forward. And we do have our army continuing in to go for this attack. So, Battle Force coming by. I'm just going to run straight on through. I mean, Sola's going to clean up the majority of this. It costs him a lot, but he does have money to rebuild with, whereas Kira's money is not exactly in Rebuild City just yet, so that part of this should remain to be quite interesting. Tank just moving up, we see the Ling's going to get actually some pretty good trades against what is not really many Marines, so no good DPS against the Lings allows him to trade very well. Solar, good momentum at the moment. He's still got money behind this, where Kira is a little bit poor, and again, just no medevacs ready to heal these units on the left side. First of all, not even necessary on that siege tank, just surrounded and killed immediately. And Ling's still flooded into this mineral line. SCV's getting blasted as well. Okay, well, Kira's going to be on the ropes a little bit, and now Solar's also taken that next step, which is going to be Ultralisks coming to the field. Kira doesn't have the ghosts or anything that really helps him out here, so this is really looking to be quite a tough situation for our Terran player. Solar bringing it to Myers, who's one of the players who's been the very best online over the last couple of weeks. And Solar, like I say, with the Ultras especially, really is going to make life difficult for Kira, because Kira doesn't have that instant pick-off, you know, sniping ability on this army at the moment. And Spain's just come running in. Ultra's coming up as well. Spain's continue to crash through, Lings surrounding everywhere, and just too many units. Kira can't possibly get enough up to defend this, and that will continuously be his problem here. Too much on the side of the Zerg. Solar and Kira always provide pretty fun series, don't they? This one is very cool. Kira will have to stay up a little bit later tonight and wait for a TVP match in the decider against either Trigger or Mana. That will be our next best of 3 up, of course, from the elimination round of this group. Obviously 37 SCVs left. Army supply isn't looking hot. Solar just needs to go again before... You just don't want to let the Terran player potentially build back up and maybe possibly start to make a bit of a comeback, right? So I say we go again just sooner rather than later. Knocking down that set of rocks. Lings are going to float on in to that bottom side base. Ultra's going to come up this ramp and, well, in we go. Solar, obviously still not a great trade. I would like to see him, just knock down this planetary fortress, because that seems very easy to do, and it's the most weak point right now. Running into the natural just naturally has some defenses there, and becomes a little bit more difficult to really achieve. So yeah, I'd maybe like to see just the other kind of angles adventured and explored here from Solar. We should just be able to do this. Like I say, that base is definitely one worth killing because it's got mining on it, so you take the mining away from the Terran, and then you can't afford the rebuilds as much, which is almost always a positive. It's always a good thing. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 SCVs. That was about half the economy that Kua had left over in the game. That orbital is about to burn down, by the way. It's on the bottom right of your screen, the countdown of HP. It is indeed going to fall. Goodbye, orbital. Fire's still pushing up, going after this hatchery top side. Ultras are going to begin surging forward. Liberators as well. And we just push straight on through, getting a wraparound on tanks and everything. Again, just we know Solar's going to win this. This was really just a question of when, not not if. And that's going to be GG. Solar 2-1 over Q, getting it done here in the